Hi, welcome to Mayawa's world. Today I am probably going to make the hardest video I've ever had to make. So this video is going to be a life update. A month ago, my mom passed, and that has been, I think, one of the hardest things I've ever had to or I am ever going through. I feel like I'm at the worst time of my life. I wanted to make this YouTube video because I feel like, I've been making YouTube videos for 7 years. My mom really liked my YouTube videos. Yeah, I don't even know where to start actually. I guess all I can say is that my mom passed a month and a half ago. Everything was so sudden. It was very unexpected. I don't know what an expected death would feel like, but an unexpected death just feels so isolating, confusing. And I want to talk about grief. I also want to document where I'm at and let people know where I'm at. Because, yeah. So yeah, I started making videos about hair, and something that I really enjoyed with making YouTube is I saw how it really revolutionized my mom. Like my content really impacted my mom. And in the beginning when I had my locks, she wasn't a fan. And then my mom, towards the end of her life, she actually got locks. And I was just really happy to see that for her and to see how we related to each other. A lot of my, so on my channel, I talk about anti-Blackness and colonialism. But, the first person I think who really gave me information about colonialism in really impactful ways was my mom. And something that I really love and miss about my mom, well, I miss her presence, but I also miss her wisdom period, but also her wisdom about cultural things. A lot of the things I've learned about colonialism and cultural aspects of being a Yoruba person comes from my mother. She was the first person, I remember when I learned about slavery and how that impacted African Americans. I remember I would talk to her about it and she would just cry. And she just would say the idea of people being stolen from Africa, made her so emotional. And I thought that was really nice to see someone be so emotional about stuff like that, because that is really that's what impacted my passion. And I actually think, a lot of the passions I have comes from my mom. Maybe she wasn't able to have the space to do that. Also, her generation's relationship to colonialism is completely different than our generation, but a lot of my passion comes from her. My mom's a really fun and funny person, so not having that fun and funny energy in the house is really difficult because, one thing my mom really liked to do, she liked makeup, she liked to go out, we like to laugh. So not having that is difficult. I think the hardest part about this as well is having to grieve and caregive at the same time. So I was living in Nigeria for a year. I decided to move to Nigeria in 2020. And that, I never really unpacked how that was for me. The first year was really rough, but I also really enjoyed living in Lagos. I feel really connected to the city, and I was really happy that I was able to create a relationship to my country independently because I moved to Nigeria by myself. And when I was living in Nigeria, I was looking for to renew a lease or get a lease at a place. I was looking to continue living in Nigeria and looking for apartments. And as I was going to renew a lease or get a lease, my mom called me and she sounded really drained. And I was like, what's going on? And she was just like, I'm just so tired with caregiving. I feel like I'm at capacity. And so when I heard her on that phone, I was like, okay, I'm going to move back home and help you. So my mom and I for this past year have been caregiving for my dad. And I feel like caregiving is its own experience. I think a lot of people can't relate to how it feels to caregive. It's difficult. It's really difficult. I feel like it's difficult in ways that aren't really rewarded in society. but her and I shared that experience together, and we would look out for each other to still have our independence. So like sometimes I watched my dad at home for 3 weeks while my mom went to Nigeria a couple months ago, and I'm so glad that she experienced that because she had so much fun. And she brought me back really beautiful things, like this necklace and stuff like that, and other things, other adire and other things that I really liked. And I would be able to go to I went to Germany this past year. So she watched my dad as we did. So we were just kind of tag teaming, like looking after my dad and like traveling. And that's like something I really like about my mom's spirit is I feel like she's a really free person. Like I can't explain it, but my mom she's always felt very alive, a very living person. And not having that presence is difficult. Not having that presence is difficult while I'm caregiving. And with my experience with grief during this time, I feel like I've learned a lot. Like it makes you think about death differently. And I feel like there were so many things that people said that just really aggravated me around death. And I want to talk about it. One of the things, so I'm Nigerian, as I've mentioned, and a lot of times Nigerians, they say this expression, they say, it is well. It is well. And to be grieving and be told like it is well, and like that's all I'm told, it's not well. It's not well, and that's okay. And even people saying things like you'll be fine, you'll push through. How do you know? How do you know I'm going to be fine? Something I don't know. I think sometimes we say things hoping that if we say it enough, we're going to believe it. But babes, I am an analytical girl. So when you tell me it is well or I will make it, I didn't know you're a future. I didn't know you're a psychic, right? So that was not affirming for me. That was not affirming at all. And then, another thing I didn't like that people would say is everything happens for a reason. When someone passes, I don't want to hear that. Also, everyone has their own spiritual beliefs. Like right now, I'm very thankful for African traditional spirituality. I am so thankful that in Ifa and in other African spiritual beliefs, there's really a lot of depth into how the process of death works in our own spiritual beliefs. And I'm leaning into that, and I'm, hearing different things, learning different things, and that's healing for me. But I don't like when people try and put their own spiritual beliefs on me because it's not me. So if you're telling me like everything happens for a reason, I know that's not my spiritual beliefs. I think, sometimes I believe that things are connected for sure. But someone tried to justify like my mom passing for a bigger image, and like, no, I don't. That's not my spiritual beliefs. And I just feel like people really put a lot of things on you. They put a lot of things that maybe helps them heal or whatever. They put it on me. But I feel more comfortable with just sitting in the reality of how things are. I don't want to be told it is well. I'd rather you ask me how I'm doing and be able to hold that space. Because I also realize a lot of people, I think, just can't hold sadness. We cannot hold grief. Like, we want to rush it. We want to tell you it will be well because we don't know what else to say. And I wish that somebody would just say, I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't need, certain things that heal people don't heal me. I don't need scriptures. That's not my spiritual practices. I just want to be able to take each day as it comes. I think the hardest thing for me has been, grieving and caregiving and feeling like there's not really any days off, That's very difficult. That's really hard. And just, my biggest thing is feeling like I can handle or I can run this house, run this system, right? Because I've been so, normally my mom, she cooks Nigerian food for my dad because my dad eats Nigerian food. And then I can cook whatever I want. Sometimes I cook for the house, but I'm cooking my food for the house. But now I'm having to cook. I'm having to cook the Nigerian dishes on a steady and consistent basis for the house. It's different. I've never done that. I've never cooked for 3 people in total, So these are things that are adjustments that are very difficult for me, but I've been handling it well. I feel like something that I'm very thankful for is I feel like my mom is in my fingers, in the sense where everything that I've cooked since she's passed has tasted delicious. And I'm really impressed by my ability to cook the Nigerian foods and it tastes just as good as my mom, because before it wasn't tasting just as good as my mom's. But now I feel like I'm getting there, and that's something that I feel joy in. I feel like I can connect. I feel like I see my mom in my backyard. I feel like I see my mom in trees and in nature. When everything happened, the one place I wish I could have been was in the ocean. I wish I could be in the ocean in Lagos. Like, I wish I could just spend time by the water, because that was probably one of the most healing things that I've ever experienced while being in Nigeria, which was just being in water and like immersed in water. But I feel for me, with my own spiritual practices, I'm trying to lean into nature and, you know, communicate the best that I can. You know what I think is the hardest about grief? The hardest thing about grief is you're having to let go of the visions that you had for yourself. Like, you're also grieving your dreams, because I never got to meet any of my grandparents. And I was always like, okay, when I have kids, my mom, of course, like finally a child will meet an older generation. But now when I have kids, like, they're not going to be able to meet my mom. And like, that is its own like grief, because it's like there's two generations of people who haven't been able to meet elders in their own line. And for me, I've never met my grandparents, but I try really hard to venerate and show respect to my ancestors. I have pictures of my grandmother and I have pictures of my grandmother and my great grandmother in my house, behind me even. I always try, even though I never met them, I try to ask my mom as many questions as I can. And I really hope when I have a child, they have that same interest of trying to get to know who they come from and like who their lineage is. But it's really sad because of all the dreams that you hope that you have with someone. But one thing that I'm really grateful for is I'm grateful that my mom got to see me. And when I say see me, I mean know me as who I really am. Because growing up, I tried to hide who I was and really compartmentalize myself. And one of the things, a part of my YouTube journey, was actually just showing who I really am in a holistic way and being honest with the parts of myself that maybe, certain Nigerian parents wouldn't be okay with, but just being like, this is me. And I'm happy that my mom saw all of me. She may not like some of things, but she definitely knew some. She knew all things, and that to me is something that makes me feel a little bit at ease, is that she knows me and she knows my capacity. And I'm happy that I know that she believes in me, and I'm happy that at least I know that. But doing this at 32 is not easy. It is not easy. Especially too, because I think my instinct whenever I feel like pain is to like want to run away. Like, I want to like go to another, listen, I want to just like move to Africa. That's like my thing. Like, I just want to move to another country, but I know I like can't do that. And I don't even know if I have the capacity to. I feel like it's been really difficult for me to have energy and to do things I like. I love makeup. My mom and I used to love going to Sephora. My mom loves eyeshadow. We love makeup. And like, I just haven't been able to like go to the stores because I'm like so scared about that. And like, even today, I put on makeup because I wanted to like make a video. And those are things that like actually make me really happy. I'm trying to get more into like gardening and understanding how to grow things. Because I don't know, that one just also feels like an ancestral knowledge I just haven't really tapped into. But I really miss my mom, and I really, what I want to say? Why do good people always die young? And like, I feel like a lot of old people are so wicked. And it's like, why do the good people have to go? Like, I really feel like that, like, so many people I know, some of the greatest people I know have like lost a mother or like lost a parent. Like, if you know anybody super great and you ask them, they like lost a parent. And it's like, why does it take like losing someone who's such an important life force You know, like why? And why do so many really evil people like live so long? Like I don't understand. And it makes me feel like, maybe long life isn't always the reward. And also, long life isn't the reward. But also, yeah, this whole thing of like everything happens for a reason. Some of the things that I think is problematic because I think that people think people who live long did good and people who don't live long didn't do good. And it's like that can't be any farther from the truth. And like this whole everything happens for a reason makes it seem as if like when bad things happen, you must be bad. And it's just like sometimes bad things just happen because I really think so many great people are not living. Like some of the greatest people are really not living. And you know, yeah, yeah. So I've been cooking. I've been trying to spend time in nature and I want to get back to doing things that really make me happy. I really love doing events and I love talking and I want to get back to making content that I care about. I'm a bit insecure about getting attacked online because we all know it's not easy. As a dark skinned content creator on the internet, like it's just not easy. And like trying to do that with grief is difficult. But the things that I care about is still inside of me. I still always want to talk about things in the media. I just need to get stronger and feel like I'm able to do this. But right now it's very hard for me to see that. But I know I'm doing it. So that's it really. I decided like after a lot of like difficulties, I decided to like create a GoFundMe just to help me for the next couple months. So I don't have to worry about like where my income is coming from. I'm going to put that in the bio for anybody who like wants to donate. I'm thankful to everybody who has donated. There's no obligation at all either. I just feel like this, I'm unprepared, but I have to remind myself, my mom lost her mom my mom lost her mom young and she had to figure it out and I'm having to figure it out too. So yeah, I don't have anything positive to end this on, but I'm going to honor my mom. I'm going to honor my people. And I'm thankful for the mom that I got to have in this life. In this world, yeah. I'm thankful. Yeah. Today's my niece's birthday and I'm about to go see her because I know my nieces love my mom more than my mom loves my nieces more than anybody. Let's start there. And I hope that they can always remember who she was because I know that she gonna be living through them. She gonna be supporting them. And sometimes, I've never had someone in the past life fighting so hard for me. So maybe this is a new way of knowing my mother. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.